à parler est donc Hansueli Schmid de LIGNUM, donc de Suisse. Donc Hansueli a eu la lourde tâche, n'est-ce pas, de rentrer dans une base de données un certain nombre de performances acoustiques. Il va donc nous parler de l'Acoustic Database, European Acoustic Database, qui a été donc performée ou préparée dans le cadre de l'étude Silent Immobile.
Thank you very much. Jean-Luc, first of all, thank you for the invitation here in Bordeaux, and thank you for your collaboration in the last years. It was very nice to work with such brilliant scientists with really rocket science. We can say we use the same science with statistical energy analysis as they used for the Ariane rocket. So it was really exciting. I'm not a physician. I work for the Swiss economic organization for the forestry and wood industry. So I have also a different approach to this topic. I start like my colleagues with a map of Switzerland. As you can see, 2/3 of Switzerland is covered with forest. So it is our only natural raw material. We have no precious metals or petroleum. And this is why also it's from the political view something which is supported from the government, and we get funding to develop state-of-the-art documents and standard solutions. As you can see, every year we have around 10 million square meters of wood we can harvest every year. That is the double volume of the Eiffel Tower. So it's very impressive, but the hardwood is underused. The hardwood is like beech trees. We have many beech trees which are not used, which are directly burned, and we should try to use this wood as a building material and burn it in the end of the life cycle. That would it make even more ecological. So that's a challenge for the future. And when then you compare Switzerland with Europe, you see the huge potential of forest. When you manage the forest correctly, it is very sustainable and can bring us a lot of raw materials. And I think what we develop in Switzerland and together with our colleagues in Europe can benefit the whole world. So we have local solutions for a global challenge. So I start now with the LIGNUM database. As I say, this is a strategic goal for Switzerland to use the raw material wood. And how we can improve that? We can improve that by providing the solutions by leaving away barriers to use wood. So we try everything to make it as much as easy to do wood. I think I can say we have one of the best fire regulations in Switzerland. We can use standard solution for every kind of building. And so the last thing we have to solve is the sound insulation. And then the idea was to make a digital database, because we have so many solutions. It's not possible to make a book. It is only possible by doing in a digital database. So this project was founded by the Swiss government and also industry partners. So that's where the monies come from, and the knowledge is coming from our European partners too, from the Swiss testing stand EMPA in Zurich and the Swiss University AHB, which is educating wood engineers and every kind of studies in this area. So we try to bring all the information together that it is easy to find the solution you need for your building. It is very difficult if you have all the information in different books and different websites, then you will not find the optimal solution. So we built up a website which is on 3 levels, an overview site where you can choose the type of component. You need a ceiling, a wall, outer wall, a roof, and then when you have chosen it, you have the overview of all the solutions which are online, and then you can filter it according to your needs. And then also when you have found your solution, you can click on it and you have the detailed layer description with all the materials. It's generic, so it is not specific to one product, but the product is defined, what kind of product is placed. Also with the colors, we mentioned the flammability. In Switzerland we have 3 main flammability types, which allows us to make it easier to plan wooden buildings. Also we have a text which describes the whole construction, and as all this information is registered in spreadsheets, it's very simple to translate it in other languages. We have now 9 languages, and it's also translated in Japanese. So maybe you have a look to the website, lignumdata.ch. So as I explained, you have the overview, and then you have the most important information in the overview about sound insulation. But as we discovered step by step, we can add more information. For example, the weight, the height, the thermal insulation, and maybe in the future also ecological values. So that would make it even more interesting to use and to filter according to different requirements you have. So those are the main groups of constructions, components, as we say. Ceiling, we have the massive wood, we have the beam, we have the wood concrete hybrid solutions, partition wall, single shell and double shell, exterior wall, steep roof and flat roof. Flat roof is still under development, it's not online already. Also, these pages are then translated in every language you choose. Then, for the project, we have a login for every scientist, and he can have access to the 3rd octave values, and there we can compare measurements and calculations. So that's something which is going on. Even if the project now is finished, our colleagues can send information, and it's something which is developing. So Lignum data, we're thinking further in Switzerland what we can do with this database. It's a very good base we can build on. And you see now in gray what we could add, life cycle information and also IFC files. If we bring all this information in an IFC file, we can then also use it in BIM, and you can use all the values for the whole building. So you can calculate the ecological value for the whole building when you have all the information of all the components. That is very interesting possibility. What we also now integrating is the auralization. The Fraunhofer Institute developed an application that you can hear the improvement of the sound insulation. And this is a Java applet. We are now connecting with our database, and it is every time you want to hear this component, it is calculating the acoustic file. We have different sound types. You can listen then. And it will look like this. You can then select your components and then listen the improvement of the sound insulation. That was also part of the Silent Timber Build project. So as I already mentioned, we can now use this information for the digital transformation. We can integrate more information and we can then export it to use it in other programs. What would be interesting is that this database creates the output data or the input data for SCA, for the statistical energy analysis, that we don't have to configure every time all the information this program needs. So that would be also something to maybe develop in the future for future projects. And also here you see, you can find it on Wikipedia. BIM is actually a method. It's not a 3D model or something, it's just a method basically. And you can begin with small steps and then always develop it more. For Swiss is something new actually. And that's the change. Before we had step-by-step planification. The architect made a 2D planification, then we have the different participants which make separate planification, and the future will be that we work on one model and we have many information, and that's the thing we want to provide, all the information that you really can profit from this technique. And we would then integrate all this information in this database. That's the goal, and we can go step by step. And we see also it's a hierarchy from product to component. Products are contained in the components and then are used in the building. And so the information is assigned and then connected to each other. And so you can really use all the information. And how we now try to bring in the most important information. It's not necessary all the information, but the most important information. Bring in IFCs files, and then you can download it in the database for your planification. And it could look like this, with the different layers and all the information of the materials, layer by layer, in this model. And that would be then the process. You make a hull and then assign the building components, and then at the end you can really analyze the whole building according to different requirements. And the goal is that you can really change the decision from massive to wood construction in early stages. And then I would show you some pictures of wooden buildings which are planned with BIM. It's also okay. To go, yes, here you see the different layers with the information contained behind. So that was my presentation, and for further information you can ask me anytime. Thank you very much.